Hey there, I'm John.
And I'm Josh.
And we're going to be talking about, again, 2019 college football season. We are almost to week 4. We're going to review week 3 real quick and just talk about the big games. There were not a lot of big games. As we said before, this is more of a down week. But there were some interesting things that happened in this down week. So let's start off with Alabama and South Carolina. And so nobody thought that South Carolina had a chance, and they really didn't.
It was close in the first half, and they were putting up a fight for sure. But
what South Carolina was doing is they were running pretty handily on the Alabama defense. For Alabama fans, I know that was a concern, watching them just run, particularly Dowdle, who ended up having over 100 yards rushing in that game.
Yeah, I know Alabama so far is slightly concerned of whether or not they're going to beat the actual tough opponents on their schedule, like the LSU's, Auburn, when that time comes. That being said, Tua still looks fantastic. He threw over 400, I believe, for like 5 touchdowns.
Close to 450.
And that was not being in the whole game.
Yeah.
And so he has done a good job managing the game, and he's definitely improved his throwing from last year to this year.
I think the concern is Alabama's defense. Yeah. They've just got a lot of injuries. You know, early on, Moses was out,
which is that he was the captain of the team, so he does the communications and stuff. Big deal.
It is a big deal.
Alabama still looks good though.
Yeah, but you know they allowed what's his name, Helinski, who played for the quarterback for South Carolina, who got, I mean, good grief, over 300 yards in passing, only 1 touchdown, and he did have an interception, so that was a big deal. But you know, just that they're allowing a lot of yards there, and they're also allowing running yards.
I think last thing on Alabama before we move on, I think what it comes down to, and I think the reason why Alabama is probably going to go undefeated this year, is because they really do have the best, hands down, wide receiver core in the country.
Yes.
Like, if you have wide receivers like them, you honestly can kind of just throw it up most of the time, or just do these short screen passes that Alabama does, and all of a sudden their wide receiver runs it for a 60-yard touchdown after a 2-yard pass.
Yeah.
It's going to be almost impossible to stop that. So we can move on. There were more interesting games than that.
Was game day more interesting?
It definitely was.
Interesting, wasn't it?
Iowa at Iowa State.
Who knew? Iowa State always gives Iowa a hard time.
I could be making this stat up. You'll have to double check it after this, but I think this is either the 3rd or 4th year in a row that the Iowa State game was decided by 1 point.
Well, we'd have to check that stat.
And if it is, like, I think I heard that somewhere, that's just heartbreaking. That being said, this was mainly a defensive battle. 18-17, pretty low scoring.
Lots of field goals.
There
were lots of field goals, not very many touchdowns. Purdy with Iowa State, he did get 270 plus yards and a couple touchdowns, 1 touchdown off that. But it's not bad. But it was a lower scoring, and hey,
it was enough to make
Iowa
me think neither team is gonna do much this year.
Yeah,
you know, good luck to both of them though.
Yeah. Then we had Florida, Kentucky. Last year again was the big upset. Kentucky finally won after a quarter of a century.
We're all pulling for Kentucky again.
Yeah.
We're hoping.
Yeah, we were hoping. And then of course Franks got hurt.
Yes, he did.
Which
he's out for the season, which is super sad. Hopefully he can recover and come back and
And Trask stepped in to his place, and it didn't miss a beat. I mean, Florida had to score 19 points in the 4th quarter to pull out that win. So it was not an easy win for Florida.
It wasn't. Kentucky's offense struggled. Florida fans are more excited. Obviously, it's not the way they wanted to see it happen with Franks getting hurt. But they are definitely more excited about Trask being the quarterback. They think he's actually a playmaker. Franks was just so iffy throughout the season. Like I said, we do hope he recovers, but Florida fans are excited to see what Trask can do.
Yep. Then we had the blockbuster Clemson and Syracuse.
We knew at least Syracuse wasn't ranked going into this because of the Maryland game. At least we knew.
Yeah, yeah, we knew that Syracuse didn't have a chance, and it was very lopsided, 41-6. But then you got Lawrence, he in everybody's mind before the season started, he was the leading Heisman contender.
He was the guy.
All this.
He was the guy.
And he had 395 yards, so yes, a ton of yards, 3 touchdowns, but also 2 picks.
He's had 7 interceptions this season.
5 interceptions this season.
No, it's 7 now.
Is it?
We'll check.
Okay, well,
he's had a lot. He's had more interceptions than Tua, Hurts, these other Heisman candidates.
He's had more interceptions this season than he had all of last season.
Yeah, he had 3 last season, I believe.
Yeah.
And I just he's had a little bit of a.
Not sure what's going on with
He
that.
looks a little shaky right now. Obviously, he can still throw a lot and stuff, but he's making poor decisions.
I think the hard thing is, okay, again, this is the ACC, so Clemson literally faces nobody.
Nobody, yep.
Nobody for the rest of the season. So what do you do with that? I mean, how do you even get excited about the next game? I don't even know. But
they're going to probably go undefeated, make it to the playoffs, but the question is what they do from there.
So then we had Ohio State played Indiana. Indiana was undefeated coming into that, so everybody was thinking, they got a little bit of a chance. They didn't have a chance.
No.
We knew they really didn't have a chance. What's really interesting in this one is Fields didn't even have 200 yards in passing.
Why do you need 200 yards when your running backs get you 300 rushing yards?
You don't need.
Wow,
you don't need
300. That's like a quarterback's dream.
Oh my goodness, yes. I mean, that was just smash mouth football. They just ran it down to Indiana's throat.
And Ohio State's a great team. They're most likely winning the Big Ten. The only other competition is probably Michigan or Wisconsin. We'll see how they do next week.
Those are a little iffy. Yeah, we will see next week. Exactly. Then we had Maryland, who had that incredibly disappointing loss the week before, played Temple.
No.
They did that incredibly big win the week before, and then they played Temple.
How did this happen?
And the Owls come storming in. Maryland even got 2 safeties against the Owls.
Yeah, 2 safeties, and one was at the very end of the game.
Yeah.
And then when they got the kickoff, I'm pretty sure they fumbled and lost because of that.
Yeah.
So they had every opportunity to win. This was the highest scoring offense in the country up to this game.
Yes.
They had more points. I think they're averaging something like 70 or something ridiculous like that.
And so they lost 20 to 17.
And you lose 20 to 17? Maryland.
Yeah.
This was y'all's year. You were ranked. What were you doing? Oh, anyways.
A quick shout out to Tennessee. The Volunteers finally won a game.
Against who?
Against Chattanooga.
That's what I thought.
What's their mascot?
They're not 1A, I don't think.
I don't have a clue, but okay.
Anyway, congratulations, Tennessee. We're proud for y'all. Oh.
Okay, speaking of the Hall of Shame, we've got Georgia Tech hosted Citadel, and they paid Citadel $400,000.
That was so nice of them, because they know they're going to crush Citadel, right?
Yeah, that's right. They didn't. They lost to Citadel. So, sorry about that, Georgia Tech.
The moral of this story, and I think by the end of the year we're all going to agree, is Georgia Tech needs to go back to the triple option.
They need to go back to
now. Right now. Just stop. The game plan, not working. Yep. Stop. Go back to triple option.
Yeah. All right. Much more dangerous with the triple option. Okay. Then you had, and just wanted to mention this one because it's just crazy. Troy hosted Southern Miss.
Troy always has these lofty expectations of what they're going to do in a year.
Yeah.
Southern Miss always obviously put them in their place in a close game.
Well, it was a close game. 47-42 is okay. One, it's a ridiculously high score.
Super high. 6
touchdowns, 3 each in the fourth quarter. I mean, that's just
42 points.
I mean,
that's how many points Troy scored
watch the fourth quarter. That had to have been incredibly entertaining. No defense here whatsoever. Yeah. But hey, guys, work on defense. Wake Forest did beat UNC. Now,
they were both undefeated going into the game.
They were. So, what does that mean for the ACC, Josh?
This is either a good thing or a bad thing. It was 24-18. That is a close game.
Yeah.
It either means that both of these teams are solid teams who can play football. And I do think UNC is a fairly good team with Mac Brown.
They've looked good up to this point.
So does this mean maybe, just maybe, they're actually, competent at competing with other teams, and that's why it was a close game? That's why maybe Wake Forest is better than we think they are. Maybe they're both going to beat Clemson.
Those Demon Deacons.
No, I'm just kidding. It was a close game. We'll have to keep an eye on the ACC because at least one other team besides Clemson has to make some kind of statement. And it's not going to be Virginia.
Yeah. All right. Got it. Yes. Now, okay, let's look at your upsets for the last week. You had 4, so you figured I said I was
going to get at least 2. I was it has to be at least 2. Yeah. Let's just go over my poor decisions first.
Okay. I like that.
So I chose Hawaii to beat Washington.
Yeah, that was a poor decision.
Chris Peterson's not going to lose to a Mountain West team with the team that he has.
Yeah. I mean, that game literally was over in the first half.
Oh, absolutely.
It was done.
It was just a beat down to
Washington was
begin
so far
with.
52 to
20.
20.
It was and this is a high flying Hawaii offense.
Yeah.
They just got shut down. Absolutely nothing. No answer. And then the other poor decision on my part, and you're going to say something after I say this, but I said Stanford was going to compete and possibly beat UCF.
Yes, I am going to say something.
And they lost 45-27.
Okay, the thing I'm going to say is that Josh is officially banned from picking against UCF ever again in the future. So,
and I agree. I'm
we're
okay
done.
with this ban.
Yeah.
So if UCF if they make it to the playoffs this year, I will say that they will win.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just saying right now, no matter who they play or what happens,
Georgia, Alabama, it doesn't really matter.
it doesn't matter. UCF wins.
All
right,
What it's looking like right now. Go ahead.
This game, I'm still okay with the fact that I chose it. I said Florida State was going to beat Virginia, and they did. They had it. It was fourth quarter. They were up by 3 touchdowns.
They had it in the fourth quarter.
Not 3 touchdowns, but they were up a good bit.
Yeah.
And Virginia scored 3 touchdowns.
In the fourth. Yeah.
Take the lead. This was just absolute beautiful Florida State fashion football.
Oh my goodness.
Like you can't have said it better. You know, they're like, except this time they actually played football in the third quarter and just decided not to play.
There are 4 quarters. There's 4 quarters Florida State.
So usually it's second
so
half.
You guys know that.
Like they don't play second half. This time it was like improvement. We're like, okay, we're seeing something of you guys. Like we know you have the talent. You're actually putting it together. No.
All right, so that's 3.
Wait, real quick. I'm sorry. One more thing.
Okay.
Someone made this kid in Florida have a lemonade stand so that he can buy out Willie Taggart's contract.
Do it, kid.
So if you're a Florida State fan and you want Taggart gone, go buy lemonade from this kid.
I think that kid could probably do a better job than Willie Taggart at this point.
I did get one right.
Yeah.
And the trend of this year is if I choose UCS or I choose BYU, I get one right. I said BYU was going to beat UCS, and it was
USC.
Goodness.
Yeah.
USC. UCS, I don't even know what that stands for. USC. It was a crazy game. USC had, I'm like scared I'm saying it wrong now. They had the lead in the fourth.
They did.
BYU came back. It was just a fun game to watch.
Yeah.
Like, it was a hard-fought battle.
BYU keeps doing these comebacks, don't they?
They do, and they keep playing tough opponents, too.
They do. They do.
Good
They
for
got
them.
a pretty tough schedule.
I think this makes me 2-7. I think it's 2-7.
Might be 8, but...
No, it's 6 or 7.
I did 4 this week.
Okay, you're right. It's 7. 2-7.
Okay. All right, we'll go with that. All right, so join us for our Week 4 preview. We'll see you later.